So how do you become a mentally tough runner? Okay, this is something in terms of mental toughness. I think we're all ingrained with the ability to go after our goals and to be willing to put in the heavy work and to achieve those goals. My recommendation in terms of how to be a mentally tough runner is just continue to focus on what you're aiming for. Okay, know that what you're doing out there, whether it's training for a marathon or trying to drop weight or trying to achieve something that you have in mind, it's not going to be easy. And that's the problem. There's so many of us, we give up too soon. And a lot of times it's just that we don't have a strong enough belief in delayed gratification. We want to qualify for the Olympic trials, or we want to earn a Boston qualifying time, or we want to break a 2-hour half marathon or run a faster 800. The biggest mistake a lot of us make is we just are too impatient. And so for you to become a mentally tough runner, my own experience, I started running in 1992. I didn't really run as fast as I dreamt of running until 2007. As a high schooler, I had the idea of breaking the 4-minute mile. When I was in college, I wanted to break 13 minutes for 5 kilometers. These are insanely quick times, and I never achieved those types of times. I ran 4:22 for the mile. I ran 14:18 for 5K. But it was in 2007 when I broke the 2-hour and 20-minute marathon barrier. That was kind of like me making the Olympic team, just based on the amount of talent that I had. Okay, remember, I was a 5:30 1,600-meter athlete the first time I ran the 1,600-meter in high school, as a freshman in high school. So to go from a 5:30 1,600 to running 26.2 miles at 5:19 per mile, drastic jumps in physical ability. But the reason why I was able to achieve that was mental toughness and being consistent over several years. Okay, the amount of challenges and frustrations that I had over the years are the same experiences that I'm sure you have as well as an athlete. Okay, so I think mental toughness it comes from repetition over a long period of time of experiencing pain, getting comfortable being uncomfortable, whether that's doing long runs, whether that's running for sustained periods of time at very high intensities, running at very high heart rates for a long period of time, experiencing what it feels like to run with very high amounts of lactic acid buildup and being forced to slow down, and then gradually over time being able to sustain very fast paces. You start building your confidence from doing that. And again, it's like repetition with anything else that you're doing. You're going to get good if you continue to do it over a very long period of time. Okay. When I first started making videos on YouTube, it took me years to get to a point where I could just get in front of a camera and decide that I'm going to start making these videos. Now it's very routine, where before it was not routine at all. So again, being mentally tough comes with repetition, and the fitter you get, the more confident you will become as well. I think mentally tough runners also have, I think everybody can grow in terms of being a mentally tough runner. The more you get out there and you compete against athletes that are faster than you, that will really help to build your confidence. And especially when you start racing athletes that are and outrunning athletes that you thought were better than you, that is really empowering as well. And I also think in terms of how to build your mental toughness also comes from mental rehearsal, mental training. So many athletes really place a high emphasis on physical preparation. And what I've learned from a lot of the top runners in the world, sub 4-minute milers, Olympians, Dan Brown was an example of that. When I was with the U.S. Army World Class Athlete Program, when I was still serving in the military, Colonel Dan Brown, he made 2 Olympic teams, ran 2:11:35 for the marathon, broke 28 minutes for 10,000 on the track. The mentally tough athletes, they will be willing to persist under very heavy stress levels as well. And the longer, like I said, the better condition you get, the more confident you're going to become. And I think a lot of things, in terms of being a mentally tough runner, is about just being patient. Okay, maybe you've been training for several years now to achieve your goal, and you just haven't achieved it yet. Start looking at how you're setting up your training. Okay, are you running too much of your mileage too easily? Have you in the past done your long runs too slow? okay? Because I think a big mistake a lot of athletes make is they really get zoned in on, long, slow distance running. And of course, there is a place for that you still want to get out and run long and slow. You want to burn fat, build endurance. But at the same time, if you want to run faster and you want to become more confident and become more mentally tough, you're going to have to get out of your comfort zone, and you're going to have to do that more often than your competition. The best middle to long distance runners run up to about 40% of their weekly volume at or below their anaerobic threshold. That is extremely aggressive running. And these athletes are doing that much more consistent and doing it at a higher percentage of their volume each week than the average athlete. And it's not just because they're talented, physically talented. A lot of athletes that run at the elite level or that run faster than you and I, they do have a certain amount of physical capability, but they also are setting up their training in a different mindset in terms of their mental training. They're mentally rehearsing, spending a few minutes each day preparing their subconscious mind, training their subconscious mind like they're training their bodies. And so if you look at what the best do, you can mimic portions of what they do in training and help you to become more mentally tough in your preparation as well. Okay, sometimes it's just a matter of changing up your strategy and changing up how you've done things in the past so that you get different results. That old saying, if you continue to do the same, get the same routine. If you stay in that same routine, you're going to continue to get the same results. Sometimes you have to make some changes in how you prepare in order to become not only a faster runner, but more mentally tough as well. Do expect that you will have challenges in training. The most mentally tough athletes I've known over the years just continue to persist. They get over disappointments very quickly. That's a very important fact and a very important thing to keep in mind in your own preparation. They don't lose enthusiasm for what they're doing. They're very quick to get over a bad performance, whether it's a workout or a race, and they're always thinking about the next race, the next workout. Okay, just remember, as you're training and you want to become more mentally tough, remember that even the best middle to long distance runners experience doubt. They experience frustrations. They experience do not finish, those DNFs, and a lot of times not finishing a race is frowned upon. Sometimes it's a very wise thing to do so that you don't get an injury or you don't deal with additional injuries that's going to slow your process and going to minimize how confident you become as an athlete. So I hope this is helpful in terms of how do you become a mentally tough runner. Also, keep in mind that what you're telling yourself, what you're listening to, what you're reading, the environment, the people that you surround yourself with, people that don't really care how fast you run and will care about you whether you drop out of a race. They're still going to care about you whether you run a personal best. They're still just as impressed with you if you if you go out there and you run a mediocre race. Okay, those are the types of people, those are the types of individuals that you want to surround yourself around. Very positive, and people that also are going to take you out of your comfort zone as well. Okay, whether that be an athlete or a family member, somebody that's going to really push you to get to the next level in your particular training and mindset as well. So if you have any other questions about this particular topic or any other topic, leave me a comment below this video. I will definitely reach back out to you and respond. Check out the resources on RunDreamAchieve.com or below all of my videos. They're there to help you get to the next level in your fitness and health. And I wish you all the best in your training as well as your mental health as well. I know you're already mentally tough, otherwise you wouldn't have watched this long and you wouldn't have even stopped at this video. So I know what you're capable of. So stay focused and you will definitely achieve what you want.